you're a Virgo. And the first thing people always say is, you're such a perfectionist. But that's not it, is it? You don't chase perfection because you want things to be pretty. You chase it because when things feel out of place, your nervous system lights up. You notice every detail, every mistake, every pause in someone's voice, every text that felt different from the last one. Your brain doesn't shut off, and even when your mouth says it's okay, your mind is still running a full diagnostic on everything that felt off. You don't do it to control. You do it to protect. To protect yourself from being caught off guard, from being made to feel small again, from being the only one in the room who sees a problem and has to quietly hold it. Because that's the thing. You don't always speak up. You've been trained, slowly, to just deal with it, to carry it all, to fix it behind the scenes, without making it a thing. And what people don't get is that your silence, it's not peace, it's exhaustion. It's knowing that if you say something, you'll be labeled dramatic, or worse, wrong. So you do what Virgos do. You overthink, you isolate, you replay, you adjust. But let's go back for a second. Because who you are now, it didn't start here. Virgos rarely grow up in environments where they feel emotionally held. A lot of you were the responsible one, the one who got good grades, the one who knew how to act around adults. You didn't throw fits. You didn't ask for too much. You earned your safety by being useful. And even if no one said it out loud, you felt it. That pressure to hold it together so no one else had to. That's the root of it. That's why you apologize for things that aren't your fault. That's why you overplan, overfix, overcare. Because somewhere deep in your nervous system, you learned, if I do it right, I'll be safe. If I keep it together, I won't be left behind. But let's be real. Virgo pain isn't loud. It's quiet. It shows up in the way you clench your jaw when you're holding something in. It shows up in the way you laugh things off when you're actually hurt. In the way you double text, then feel stupid for it. In the way you become emotionally invisible just so no one calls you needy. And love? You love hard, but cautiously. You analyze the people you care about like puzzles. You learn what they need before they even ask. You become their safe space, their emotional healer, their fixer. But deep down, you just want someone to do the same for you, to hold space for you, to say, you don't have to hold it all today, I got it. But that doesn't always happen, does it? Instead, you attract broken people. People who love your structure but can't return your depth. People who say you're amazing but never actually ask how you feel. People who use your loyalty, your effort, your silence, and never once ask what it costs you. And you take it. You make excuses for them. You say, they're going through a lot, or they're not like this with everyone. And then you stay too long, way too long, because as much as you hate being drained, you hate giving up more. You see potential. You see what could be. And you hold on to that, even when it's hurting you. There's something people don't understand about Virgo silence. You don't go quiet because you don't care. You go quiet because you've already said it in your head 100 different ways. You've practiced the conversation, the explanation, the apology, the boundary, and then you stayed quiet anyway. Why? Because somewhere along the way, you learned that people don't always listen, that telling the truth doesn't always fix things, that peace is sometimes easier to fake than to earn. And so now, when you pull away, it's not sudden. It's built up over weeks, maybe months, of holding back everything you never said. You burn out in layers, slowly, quietly. You don't explode. You detach. And by the time you're done, you've already made peace with the distance, but they're just realizing they lost you. Let's talk about what you're actually here to do. Because people love saying Virgos are meant to serve, like you're just supposed to stay in the background and do invisible labor forever. But your service isn't submission. Your gift isn't obedience. You're here to bring structure to chaos. You're here to take complex, messy situations and refine them, whether that's through healing, organizing, creating, designing, or leading. You don't need to be center stage, but you need to be where things make sense. If you're not in a space that values clarity, honesty, and improvement, you'll eventually check out. And you're not built for just a job. You need work that gives back. Emotionally, mentally, even spiritually. You need to feel like you're doing something that actually matters, something that feels clean, organized, aligned. You'd be powerful in anything that lets you work with systems, patterns, or people's growth, therapy, medicine, wellness, education, design, creative directing, even social media if it's done with meaning. But if you're clocking into a place that's chaotic, disrespectful, or filled with fake energy, it'll drain you so fast you'll start questioning your whole life. And that's not dramatic. That's just what happens when your purpose gets ignored. Now let's talk about how you get misunderstood. Because you do, a lot. People say you're cold, judgmental, critical. But they don't see what you've already processed in your head. You're not judging them. You're reading patterns. You're noticing the inconsistencies. You're holding back from saying what you could say. Your silence isn't rudeness. It's restraint. You're someone who sees through the excuses, through the fake smiles, through the laziness. But instead of calling it out, you bottle it. You internalize it. And then people turn around and call you distant, unavailable, guarded, but they have no idea how much you've already taken on, mentally, emotionally, energetically. And then there's your glow up, because when a Virgo stops playing small, it's insane. You go from being the one people overlook to the one people can't ignore. When you stop apologizing for your standards, when you stop bending for people who don't meet you halfway, when you stop shrinking your voice just to keep others comfortable, you become magnetic, powerful, unshakable. You're the type of person who can create something real, a brand, a business, a legacy, just by showing up in your full energy. But none of that happens if you keep hiding behind "I'm fine." None of that happens if you keep waiting for someone to notice you deserve more. Let's talk love. Because your heart, it's not cold, it's not shut down, it's careful, it's calculated. It doesn't just hand itself over to anyone, it scans first, it watches, it notices. And while people think you're guarded, the truth is, you've just been hurt in ways you still haven't fully processed. You don't love easily. But when you do, you study your person, you learn what calms them, what triggers them, what they need before they say it out loud. You don't just show up, you tend to them. You maintain the relationship like it's a system, but also like it's sacred. The problem is, you fall for potential. You fall for the version of someone that could exist, not always the one that's in front of you. And you end up staying loyal to an illusion, holding space for someone who wouldn't even do the bare minimum for you, hoping they'll grow, hoping they'll match your effort. But they don't. Because not everyone deserves a Virgo. Not everyone's built to love someone who sees through their bullshit. You also attract people who love that you're put together, until they realize how much it challenges their own chaos. They love your calm, your clarity, your ability to stay 10 steps ahead. But they don't know how to match your energy. They say, "You're too much." But what they mean is, "I can't keep up." And you internalize that. You start wondering if maybe you are asking for too much. Spoiler, you're not. Your love needs reciprocity, real effort, thoughtfulness, consistency. You don't need a fantasy. You just need someone who's aware, who sees how much you do and wants to give some of that back. Who doesn't make you beg for the basics? Who doesn't wait for you to break before asking what's wrong? Now let's break down compatibility. The signs you flow best with? Earth and water signs. People who bring grounded energy and emotional presence. Taurus brings peace and structure. They match your loyalty and your standards. Capricorn brings focus and ambition. They understand your grind. Cancer brings emotional safety. They'll let you melt a little. Scorpio challenges your mind, but only works if they're evolved. Pisces is hit or miss. They get your overthinking, but sometimes can't hold your structure. The signs you need to watch: fire signs can burn you out. Aries may move too fast and ignore details. Leo might trigger your insecurity if they're too self-absorbed. Sagittarius can feel reckless, fun at first, but inconsistent when you need stability. Air signs? Gemini can work if there's maturity, but too much back and forth will drain you. Aquarius is too detached unless they're emotionally in tune. Libra is tricky. They seem balanced, but if they're avoidant, it'll mirror your silence instead of softening it. And now we move to timing, because your personal years matter. Your life moves in 9-year cycles, and depending on where you're at, your energy completely shifts. Let's say you were born in 1997. You'd be in a personal year 4 in 2025, a year of structure, discipline, and grind. Not a year to launch wild ideas or chase fantasies. It's about building the foundation for what comes next. But in 2026, you'd shift into year 5, your glow year. That's movement, freedom, momentum. If you planted the right seeds this year, next year becomes a breakout era. But if you've been playing small or avoiding your truth, year 5 will break patterns for you, often painfully. Year 6, 2027, is about alignment and relationships. That's when you'll feel the need to commit, settle, or face emotional decisions. Year 7, 2028, is spiritual reflection. It's quieter, heavier. It'll bring things to the surface you didn't want to face, especially emotionally. Year 8, 2029, is power, money, and achievement. Year 9, 2030, is a full cycle reset. You'll let go of a lot that year. People, patterns, paths. It's a shedding. Then in 2031, you hit year 1 again. The fresh start. New chapter. New energy. And these years, they repeat. Every 9 years. So the patterns you're living in right now, you've been through them before. You'll face them again, unless you evolve. That's the thing about Virgos. You're so used to surviving that you sometimes forget you're allowed to live, allowed to let go, allowed to ask for more. You're not here to be the cleanup crew for everyone else's mess. You're not here to be the backup plan, the overachiever, the quiet one who never asks for anything. You're here to grow, to build, to be seen. Let's be real for a second. If you don't grow, if you keep living the same cycles, keep people-pleasing, keep holding your tongue when your soul's screaming, keep choosing logic over your own damn peace, you will burn out. Quietly, slowly, and completely. You'll stay in jobs that make you anxious the night before. You'll keep friendships that only reach out when they need something. You'll keep trying to be the strong one while feeling completely unseen. And over time, that version of you that had dreams, ideas, feelings, it'll get dimmer. Not because you're weak, but because you gave too much of your strength to things that didn't give anything back. You'll find yourself snapping over little things, not because you're angry, but because you're tired of swallowing everything big. You'll ghost people, not to hurt them, but because you're done trying to explain your worth. You'll settle into numb like it's normal. But you'll feel it deep in your body. This isn't what I came here to live. You deserve more than that. Now here's what unlocks when you stop shrinking. When a Virgo starts speaking honestly, not perfectly, just honestly, their whole life shifts. Because you've been holding your truth in for so long that when it finally starts to come out, it doesn't just free you, it shakes up everything around you. You stop showing up just because you're obligated. You stop fixing people who don't want to grow. You stop working jobs that underpay your talent and drain your energy. You stop chasing people who only want you when you're useful. And suddenly, your life starts to feel light, not perfect, not without challenges, but lighter. Like you're finally living for you. You attract people who see your depth instead of using it. You find spaces where your high standards aren't a burden, they're respected. You stop apologizing for needing peace, quiet, order, depth. You let your mind rest because your soul finally feels safe, and people will notice. They'll ask what changed. You'll say, I did. Not in a loud way, just in a way that finally feels honest. Now here's the future vision. You're someone who could build something timeless. A brand, a system, a message, a legacy. You could lead others just by being fully yourself. Organized, precise, intentional. You don't need to go viral. You don't need a crowd. You just need to start. Quietly, consistently, in your own energy. You'll never be the loudest person in the room, but you'll be the one who leaves the deepest mark, not because you forced anything, but because you moved with clarity. And finally, if nobody has told you this lately, you're not too much, you're not too quiet, you're not too critical, you're someone who's carried too much, for too long, with too little recognition, and still you've shown up, still you've given love, still you've tried. This is your permission to stop shrinking, to stop breaking your own heart to keep the peace, to stop apologizing for needing depth in a world addicted to noise. You're a Virgo. You were never meant to blend in. You were meant to refine everything you touch, including your own life.